I think a lot of companies are saying, well, hey, we're already doing that. We don't make these decisions based on someone's race or their gender or their age or any other protected characteristic, but should we be doing something else? Sometimes people want to throw training at it, and there's unfortunately not a lot of data that says training is very effective, and even the federal government has said
Hmm.
that.
Hey, I'm Dave Rubin, and it's Small Business Week here on the Rubin Report. Joining me today is Wendi Modarelli, co-owner of HR Northwest from Seattle, Washington. Wendi, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dave.
So I know that legally I have to ask you about what life is like in Seattle right now with your autonomous zone before we get into anything else.
Of course, of course. We are outside of the autonomous zone, but it seems to be changing
Congrats.
by the day. Yes.
Are you hearing from people that have businesses that are in the autonomous zone or around the autonomous zone about how they can treat their employees or ask people to come to work, or are people not wanting to come to work or anything else like that?
Yes, we have clients that are outside of, but near the autonomous zone who are dealing with the need to protect their employees from some from some of the rioting that is happening. So they are dealing with opening up late, leaving, letting people leave early, and otherwise allowing employees to get out so they can board up windows and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I thought you'd be interesting to talk to for a couple reasons because your business sort of deals in many ways with the business of business. How do you handle these strange situations, not just, autonomous zones and protests and that sort of stuff, but obviously COVID, asking employees to come back to work when everyone hears these mixed messages from the government and from their employers and everything else. So I guess first, can you talk a little bit about your company's sort of general ethos and then how you apply that to these strange times that we're in right now?
Sure. Yes. What we do is we are HR professionals. We help our clients make good business decisions with respect to employment related matters. So we try to help our clients strike that balance between taking care of employees and doing right by them, and then also doing right by the business so that this business can continue to be sustainable and exist for a long period of time. So, we help our clients navigate very tricky laws, especially the more recent laws like the FFCRA, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, that just recently passed, back in late March. And there's just a tangle of complexities around that.
So how do you guys learn on the fly? Because I know that looking at these PPE documents and everything we signed up for, and from talking to other small businesses, it's like whether you're an HR professional or a small business owner or a lawyer, I mean, this is seriously complex stuff that often changes. I mean, every week it seems like the rules and regulations change.
It is. It's changing constantly. We subscribe to a number of different alerts with the government, with law firms, and then we have some HR related resources that we buy into as well. But then a lot of it is our team just keeping on top of it, reading up on the regulations themselves, and then we're constantly kind of discussing it with each other to make sure that we're all staying on the same page about how these should be interpreted and utilized.
So what are the types of things that businesses are going through right now, like some of the consistent questions that you guys are getting as businesses are opening up?
Yeah, a huge question that keeps coming up is that my employee is scared to come to work. They are immune compromised maybe, or they just don't want to come to work right now because they're afraid of coronavirus, or they have some other reason that they just feel really uncomfortable coming in. So that's been the biggest challenge. And I would say most of the time we're seeing employers giving people a leave of absence, at least for a few months, while we all sort of weather this storm. Of course, it's understandable that at some point businesses get to a point where they say, hey, this is causing serious staffing issues now, and I have to bring my people back.
Are you hearing a ton, this is a slight offshoot of the corona thing specifically, but are you hearing a ton from employers or employees that are now being confronted with all these diversity and inclusion memos and all of these things, sort of a set of guidelines that it's always seems sort of unclear where it comes from or how they have to apply it, where suddenly, just hiring someone on the basis of their qualification is no longer good enough?
Yeah, that is a really difficult question. We've had clients come to us and ask, hey, what should we be doing around diversity, equity, inclusion, and should we be doing more? So we're definitely having that conversation. I personally really like to look at the data and the research around it, and not just assume it's a hiring problem or it's a promotion problem, but really try to dig into the details. I think that certainly it makes sense for companies to look at whether they have any specific biases in their hiring processes. If that's clear that you are making these decisions based on characteristics other than their qualifications for the job, then of course a company should absolutely look at that. But I think a lot of companies are saying, well, hey, we're already doing that. We don't make these decisions based on someone's race or their gender or their age or any other protected characteristic. But should we be doing something else? Sometimes people want to throw training at it. And there's unfortunately not a lot of data that says training is very effective. And even the federal government has said that. So it is an area where we're still grappling. We're talking to various diversity experts out there to try to figure out what is the right way to approach this problem.
Have you seen the general sort of business of HR change, say, over the last decade or so, where now it seems like so much of it is public, where maybe back in the day, if people had a problem, you complained to your superior, they take it to HR, there's some sort of process, maybe it's good, maybe it isn't, versus these days where it's sort of like if something happens to someone at work, what's the first thing you do? You screenshot the email, you text it to somebody at BuzzFeed. Next thing you know, the boss has been fired before the company's done any sort of research or an investigation of their own.
Yes, that has added a huge new component. So now instead of employees maybe off of work having a few beers at a local bar might have a conversation together about something work related, now that conversation ends up getting broadcast. And it is causing I think a lot of harm in a lot of ways, because people aren't filtering what they're saying. The information's getting back to their boss, that they called their boss a jerk on social media, and it's causing a lot of issues. And sometimes employees get fired, and that firing is upheld when all they're saying is, my boss is a jerk. And sometimes the language is a lot more colorful than that.
Yeah, that must be interesting for you, that you deal with all sorts of different companies that have different cultures, as opposed to being just an in-house HR team that you're dealing with one boss or one culture. You're dealing with all sorts of different ones, right?
We are, yes. All sorts of different businesses, all sorts of different cultures and environments. And so we really try to tailor what we do to that culture and environment and get to know our clients well and understand what they're trying to do so that we can help guide their policies and their reactions to employee questions and concerns in that way.
So what should the average person that doesn't know anything about HR people, what should we know about HR people? Because I think you guys probably get caught in the mess more than anybody else these days.
We do. I would say right now, HR people are all just trying to keep up with all of the legislation and how it all interacts together. And we work with clients in Washington, Oregon, and California, which have a lot of complex state laws on top of brand new federal laws. And it's often very, very unclear how they all are supposed to work together. I think that in general, HR people are doing their best to navigate all of that and act as sort of that intermediary between senior management and employees. And of course, just like in any profession, there's some bad apples out there too.
Yeah. All right. Well, now I'll let you be saleswoman or salesperson. Pimp out your website and the biz for anyone that wants some more info.
Yeah, thank you. You can find out more information at our website, which is HRTNorthwest.com. It stands for Human Resources Team, and Northwest is spelled out, .com. Our clients are generally based in Washington and Oregon, but many do have other locations, such as in California. And we really try to help businesses and other organizations to make good business decisions when it comes to their employees and try to do right by everyone.
Nice. Well, I thank you for doing this, and I know you guys have a unique set of challenges up in the Pacific Northwest these days, so good luck with everything, and let me know if I can help in any way.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about lifestyles instead of nonstop yelling, check out our lifestyle playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're both right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.